I'm Caela. I'm here from NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I'm going to speak to Jacob's slides. And when we see the co-authors pop up here, they're going to represent leadership from the RISE team, GEODES team, and Goddard Instrument Field team. I really want to call out, oh, sorry, may I grab the pointer and slide advancer from you?
Is it up there?
Oh, sure is. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, okay. So I really want to call out this small text, thanks to all GEODES and RISE team members. The work we're going to present represents years of input from many dozens of people. So thank you, everyone who's contributed to this. Let's start with why we are talking about this. I think many people in this room would agree field science is a critical tool. It teaches us about our own world, about other worlds. It prepares us for exploration beyond Earth. And it is a unique work environment, right? This is an immersive environment. It has hazards and barriers which are different from what we run into in a regular office setting. We know that harassment happens in the field. That includes sexual harassment and other forms of harassment. We know that this is an intersectional issue. The effects are stacking for people who are from more than one historically marginalized community. This is a structural challenge, it's a cultural challenge, and at the human scale, I think maybe Jacob said these good words one time, none of us are immune to being the problem, right? It's on all of us to build the positive, safe culture we want to be a part of. And it's made a lot of sense for RISE and GEODES to team up and talk about this together because we have overlapping leadership, we have overlapping field personnel, we are working in logistically comparable environments, analog environments in the Western United States. You can see some of those locations listed here. For both teams, the strategy is to bake safety in from beginning to end. That includes physical, mental, and emotional safety. Some shared objectives are enabling more scientists to join field expeditions, moving the burden of balancing research and safety from the individual to the team with leadership support, and letting researchers focus on research in the field. We're going to get more and more specific as we move through these slides, so buckle up, everybody. Some cornerstones of the strategy these teams use are communication, documentation, and training. Interpersonal conduct is part of the safety conversation. Our leadership philosophy across these teams is that clear communication and shared expectations set everybody up for success. And some of the ways that we set those expectations and communicate are through safety and conduct resources. The field safety plan, that's where we're going to find what to do if someone gets hurt, what to do if someone gets sick, bear safety if we're in bear country, wildfire safety if we're in wildfire country, personal protective equipment, the buddy system. Code of conduct, we'll talk more about in a moment. Field Bill of Rights is where we're painting the picture, what does good field work look like? What can all participants expect from leadership in the field? We also want to offer training opportunities. USGS offers field-focused by-center intervention training for free. Amazing. GIFT is hosting this course every other year right now. And we're also aiming to host wilderness first aid training on the offset every other year. We've been piloting at a small scale a best practices workshop series for field leads and are interested in continuing to work on that. Super important, this is part of a bigger picture, right? We're building on community knowledge. We're incorporating recommendations from experts. I want to specifically credit Serena Diniega et al. And the Code of Conduct white paper from 2020. We draw strongly from that. And Association of Polar Early Career Scientists. Their Field Bill of Rights inspired ours. And we want to share lessons learned, of course, and be part of an ongoing conversation. So thank you for having us here today. So we've got a chart over here showing where those three core documents fit into our bigger resources picture. But what I really want you to take away from this is all of these documents are necessary and not sufficient. It's got to be part of an ongoing conversation, right? These are living documents. They are made to be shared and adapted, and they only matter if they're part of a conversation with the whole team and with leadership. So we test them in the field, we talk about them in the field, we talk about them after the field, we revise them before each trip, we review them each year. You are invited to take a look at sample versions of the text that we use on the Goddard Instrument Field Team website. A few specific notes on how we use the Code of Conduct. All participants get all safety and ethics documents before the field digitally and in the field hard copy. We used to do only hard copy. Good feedback was, I'd like to be able to look at that on the airplane. So now we do digitally. The safety and behavior conversation continues alongside the science conversation in the field every day. What that often looks like for us is morning and evening briefings with structured check-ins around the team. We want to address concerns early. It really helps to talk about things while they're small, right? And to demonstrate that we're going to minimize stigma around raising concerns. This goes for, hey, I opened my first aid kit to treat a blister, or I'm getting pretty run down, I need to think about a rest day, or I didn't feel so good about that decision we made. I didn't feel so safe in that situation. Let's talk about what to do moving forward. All of this is important. And again, we're reviewing these documents regularly to reflect the feedback that we're receiving from the teams. A big risk of using documents like this is they can become lip service, right? And that is not the goal. So that's something we need to be vigilant about and recommend that everyone is vigilant about. It's important to note that conduct is a two-way street. We want to document how leadership will maintain a safe and positive environment and how leads will react to unsafe or problematic behavior. And we want to have a really robust reporting map. This is messy, right? This is hard. We're across different institutions. Something that was key to this process for our teams was having Tim Glatch and Nick Schmer and the gift leads sit down in a room together over like 6 months, virtually it was at this time, and talk about what can we actually act on. And if this situation comes up, what language are we prepared to follow through on? Because if we're not prepared to follow through on it, it can be worse than nothing, right? So we want to have a strategy that accounts for all of the institutions we're working with. We want to create opportunities for frank face-to-face conversations daily. We want to create opportunities for frank debriefing conversations at the end of the trip. And that's not always how we're going to feel comfortable giving feedback, right? It's vital to have anonymous reporting channels. We try to provide some information about resources at each institution from which team members are coming as well. So I'm a contractor. Some NASA resources are available to me, some are not. But I know who I can talk to at my company if I want to get more information from that angle as well. Big work in progress. This is hard, far from perfect. Would love to hear how other people are addressing this as well. All right, in summary, again, template versions of these documents live on the Goddard Instrument Field Team website. Science is impacted by how we treat each other, not just in the field, although that's what we're talking about here today. Worthwhile field research is worth doing safely. We want to back up our documents with leadership buy-in, communication, and action. And we want to keep working on democratizing safety and conduct through accessible training. One last comment on that point. I've been helping to organize those training series at Goddard, and it was really mysterious to me, like 30 months ago when I started trying to do that. So if you are in that position, you're thinking about how do I set up a bystander intervention for field teams? How do I set up a Knowles Wilderness first aid? And you want to talk about it, find me this week, send me an email. I'd love to pass on some of the good advice that I got at that time. All right, thanks Jacob for the slides. Thanks for chairing the session. That's it for me. Thank you, everybody.